Hi, good afternoon. I'm Álvaro Nieto. I'm one of the students here in the Industriales. And I'm come here to present my PhD thesis, which is basically trying to explain fatigue on any kind of vibration. That's to say, for example, the fatigue you would have on your car, on your airplane, on any kind of structure that has loading that is basically unknown, which is just a stochastic is just a fancy word for unknown. It's just that we have this kind of no laser. Okay, we have this kind of weird vibration, and the current methodology to know the accumulation of damage is just a reduction of this complex load into, let's say, simpler loadings, which we can then understand and sum up and say, this is your material limits, and this is what has been done so long. And you have, I don't know, like 10, 15 years remaining of that life. The problem with this complex loading is that if you want to do this technique, due to the unknown nature of the loading, is that we cannot do this counting and simplification forever. It takes a long time, for example, in wind turbines or in airplanes, to determine the fatigue. What we are trying to do instead is, if you look at that same vibration in the frequency world, it's much more, let's say, known. Okay, it's still an unknown load. It's still a very weird shape. But what we can actually produce is we want to come up to a model when we really have a close model about how are these fatigue cycles going to be in terms of only by looking at the frequency. So in simple terms, what we want to do is to, just by looking at a little time of this weird vibration or load, we will be able to predict the rainflow countings and then the damage. When I say rainflow counting, it's just one of the techniques to really transform this weird load that you see up there into those simple loads that we can then add and consider how much life is remaining in the material. And then the second advantage of this way of doing things is that instead of going to this complex time domain problem, it becomes really easy on the frequency domain. It's just a simple equation, and you can enter whatever damage model you want. That means that you're not only limited to this classic material limit that is mostly on the safe side. You can then take all the safety limits from real testing, like the one you presented before. We can take into account models from real life testing and then just input it into the model and predict with higher accuracy, even though the loading we are getting from the output is totally or mostly random. For example, as I said, things you use in your daily life where it's pretty hard to predict how hard the wind is going to hit an airplane or how fast are you going to go with your car. So yeah, we hope to get it. We're really close to getting our formulation right now. So yeah, that's in a nutshell.